Is a Ranadive Lacob ownership team on the horizon for the A's?
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I'm your host, Bunni. Episodes will drop Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. That is Oakland time, Vegas time, and Sacramento time. Whether you are on your way to work, driving back from work, or listening casually during the day, thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've been a diehard A's fan since 1981. I'm here to bring you a real fan's take, covering everything from Oakland to Sacramento to Las Vegas. This is the place for A's fans to get the latest game breakdowns, team news, and more. This is where the passion of the fans take center stage. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. And please hit that subscribe button wherever you are following the show. Today is Thursday, October 31st, Halloween. And if you have not guessed, I have decided to be a very scary figure in Cubs history, Steve Bartman, in case you were wondering. And actually, I can't do the full headphone thing. I'm going to have to do a little modification to his costume. John Fisher and the A's relocation is literally in some type of news outlet weekly. It trends on social media daily, and the A's lack of transparency has made speculation on the A's next step part of the daily norm, as questions continually arise regarding the A's next steps. The questions and speculation have created hope for Oakland fans that Joe Lacob will save the day and the A's may have a chance to return to the Coliseum. Is that possible? The A's will be moving to Sacramento for the 2025 season. Could that be a permanent home? And could a new ownership group be at the helm? First, there are questions on the daily, whether the A's will end up in Vegas. In my opinion, the A's will not be in Las Vegas, and base my opinion on facts. Today's episode is brought to you in part by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use Locked On MLB for $20 off your first purchase. It is my contention, in my opinion, that the A's will not end up in Las Vegas. If you are under the impression that anything we hear in the national media, local news, is based on fact or a particular source that gives you the inside, you obviously have not followed the A's. And in the politest way I can put it, are as naive as can be. One thing we know about the A's for sure is that we don't know. Since 2005, any news that has come out of the Oakland athletic franchise from whatever source has been purely speculation. Let me go down the list. A new stadium in the current Coliseum lot twice. East Oakland, Fremont, San Jose, Howard Terminal twice. What do all these have in common? All lies that Oakland fans have believed as truth. And they all have ended up false. They didn't add up then, and Las Vegas does not add up now. Here you are, drinking your John Fisher Kool-Aid. And as I have said, What we do know with the A's is that we don't know. So whatever speculation or opinion one may have, whatever it may be regarding the A's, is very possible. Let's jump into exactly why I believe the A's are not going to Las Vegas. Financing. Steve Hill, the CEO and president of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, has said Fisher has the money. It has been verified, double verified, triple verified, etc. Let's make this simple as possible. Any type of real estate transaction, whether it is commercial or a residential purchase, an individual must show a proof of funds, checking, savings, money market, anything liquid are given 100% of its value. Stocks, mutual funds, bonds, anything you have to sell in the market are given a 70% value. If you have $1 billion in GAAP stock, that stock is looked at by the auditors and given a value of $700 million. Any type of retirement, 401k, IRA, etc., is given a value of 0. What you are not required to show proof of is proof of liquidation. That is only done when it is time to fork up the money. The idea that Steve Hill has given Fisher's finances the clean bill of health with no actual financing plan or plan on how this is going to get paid for means absolutely nothing to me. Anything that requires any type of liquidation in the amount of money we are talking about will bring a significant cost to it. The fact for quite some time, John Fisher has been looking to sell off a minority stake of the A's for $500 million tells me he is not willing to liquidate holdings in order to pay for the stadium. Let's break down on how exactly they plan on paying for the stadium, which they are estimating at $1.5 billion. If it stays at $1.5 billion, I'll be shocked, but we're going to use that number just for this exercise. We're looking at $380 million in public money, which the A's only plan on using $350 million of. Then why ask for the $380 if you don't plan on using the whole thing? Debt financing in the amount of $300 million. What is debt financing? Debt financing is the money you get from the bank. If this is such a solid project, such a for sure thing, and Fisher is such a safe bet, why are the banks only willing to give him $300 million? And why is one of the conditions of the debt financing is that the money will be released over a year after the public money is released? I am not done. The last piece is the equity financing. What is equity financing? Equity financing is like getting a home equity line of credit against your home. Gives you X amount of dollars based on the value of your home. Your home would be the collateral, and the bank would be the instrument to provide you this home equity line of credit. In this case, the Oakland A's are the collateral, and the investors would be the instrument. Here is the issue. Fisher cannot borrow more than 50% in equity financing. Here is the issue. Fisher cannot borrow more than 50% in equity financing. Anything more than 50% would constitute a sell in his majority interest, thus being subject to the flip tax, which is 20% of the sale, which is divided among the 29 other owners. So let me get this straight. Fisher needs money from the bank, but that isn't secure yet. And when it is secure, he gets that cash a year after the public money is released. Okay, we were at 650 million for a 1.5 billion dollar stadium. I got 350 million in public funds, and I got 300 million from the bank. I need to borrow 850 million against my A's line of credit, even though I currently don't have any investors. But let's assume Fisher is going to find those investors. Once he does that, he needs to stay below a 50% loan to value. Now, recent valuation by Forbes gives the A's a valuation of 1.2 billion, which gives me a loan to value of 71%. 850 million, which I need, divided by 1.2 billion. In order to make this work, Fisher needs a valuation of 1.7 billion minimum to get the 850 million and avoid the flip tax. Again, we haven't even gotten into the fact that at this point in time, there has been zero indication of any type of investors. It doesn't add up. It is important to remember that Fisher has never considered the A's as a major holding in his family's financial empire. Fisher has always considered the A's a small piece. Much has been made of the low attendance the ballpark will draw, parking, getting to the stadium, etc. I'm not concerned about that because Fisher could care less about how many people come to the game. Let's take a look at the Raiders. And I hate to compare the NFL to Major League Baseball because the NFL is just one complete different animal. But, for example, the Raiders are near the bottom of the NFL in attendance, but near the top of the NFL in revenue. Corporate sponsors alone in Las Vegas is an absolute goldmine. Anyone who has the money and pulls the trigger for an MLB in Las Vegas will make a mint. With all that being said, Fisher can easily pay for it on his own. Is he willing to incur the financial penalties in order to do that? Now, the rumor on Fisher is that he hates to sell anything. So yeah, maybe this is all smoke and mirrors and Vegas will happen. And I believe Vegas will happen. It just won't be the A's. The A's will be sold to the ownership group of Joe Lacob and Vivek Ranadive, who will build a stadium and keep them in Sacramento. Las Vegas and Nashville will then become the next expansion cities for Major League Baseball. What about Oakland? We will cover that. Up next, the Sacramento A's. Today's episode is brought to you in part by GameTime. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets and more with GameTime picks. I was looking to go to the Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers game last Sunday night, and what I loved about the GameTime experience is the all-in pricing feature, where it shows you the total upfront of your ticket with no surprise fees at checkout. It's the only ticketing app that gives me complete peace of mind. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB MLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. For the last 18 months or so, the A's and John Fisher have been like a soap opera we cannot get enough of. But something Major League Baseball wants to close the book on. John Fisher, at the end of the day, is a real estate individual and a businessman. And like his predecessors in Schott, Hoffman, and Wolf, who were also real estate individuals, Fisher wants to turn a buck. Fisher bought the A's in 2005 for $180 million. And a sale today would net him a profit in the neighborhood of $1 billion. At the end of the day, I believe Fisher underestimated the scrutiny he would receive from the public, from the press, which in turn he really didn't care about. But I believe this affected him to secure investors for Las Vegas. I don't believe Fisher ever thought obtaining investors for the hottest sports city in the world would be an issue. Like I said, Fisher is a businessman, and the cost of liquidation in any of his holdings is something he simply did not want to do. Now, we do have the flip tax to think about. That will be quite a hefty tax for Fisher. Selling the team would tax him around $250 to $300 million. Now, Fisher will never pay that. One of two things will happen. MLB will waive that tax like they did the relocation cost, as they just want to be done with the A's fiasco. Or that tax will be incorporated in the cost of the new team, meaning whoever buys it will be paying a significant premium for it. It's my opinion that two well-known NBA owners might step in and change the game completely. Yep, I'm talking about Joe Lacob, owner of the Golden State Warriors, and Vivek Ranadive, owner of the Sacramento Kings. Are they the future of the A's? Could they actually buy the team, move them to Sacramento, and build a brand new stadium? Let's break it down. So why would Joe Lacob and Vivek Ranadive want to get involved? When Joe Lacob and Peter Guber bought the Golden State Warriors in 2010, Ranadive was an investor in their group. Lacob has wanted to buy the A's for years and believe that he still has the desire to buy a big league baseball team. A Ranadive Lacob ownership team would be well funded. It would have impeccable credentials that Major League Baseball would be drawn to. We just saw the awful ownership the A's have gone through for the last 20 years. And even before that, with Schott and Hoffman. The last decent owner the A's have had has been Walter Haas. The A's deserve, and the MLB would love, to see a team run by pros who have money, who will spend it, and want to win. Joe Lacob is a Bay Area native, and given his success in turning the Warriors into an NBA powerhouse, he could see an opportunity to do something similar with the A's. He understands the market and has shown he knows how to build a loyal fan base and a winning culture. Then there's Vivek Ranadive. Vivek Ranadive has made no secret of the fact that he'd like to own an MLB team and put it in his home city. It's the main reason he bought the River Cats. As the owner of the Sacramento Kings, Ranadive is invested in the city of Sacramento and has already proven his ability to push big projects forward. The Golden One Center, the Kings Home Arena, is a great example. It is one of the most advanced stadiums in the NBA, and it shows his commitment to Sacramento. Bringing a Major League Baseball team to the city could be another feather in his cap, giving Sacramento fans a reason to rally around a baseball team, just like they do for the Kings. If Lacob and Ranadive were to purchase the team from John Fisher, Sacramento becomes a pretty intriguing destination. The city has a strong sports fan base, with Kings fans widely recognized as some of the most loyal in the NBA. Imagine if the A's were to relocate there. You'd have an instant fan base ready to embrace baseball. Sacramento lacks any major league competition beyond the Kings, which would make it a prime market for the A's. And here's another factor. Lacob and Ranadive would likely aim to build a brand new stadium in Sacramento. A modern, dedicated ballpark could be a huge win for the city, especially if it incorporates the kind of fan-friendly technology and amenities we've seen in recent stadium builds. They could even use the ballpark as part of a larger development project, similar to what the Warriors have done with the Chase Center in San Francisco and what the A's were talking about with Howard Terminal. So why would this be beneficial for everyone involved? For Lacob and Ranadive, it's a chance to expand their portfolios and create a lasting sports legacy in Northern California. For Sacramento, it's the chance to move up in the sports world, adding MLB to their list of major league franchises. And for the A's, well, it would mean leaving behind years of frustration and uncertainty for a fresh start in a city ready to support them. So could we see the A's in Sacramento one day? It's a real possibility, especially if Joe Lacob and Vivek Ranadive get serious about making a deal. This potential move isn't just about money. It's about vision, culture, and creating something lasting. And maybe, just maybe, it's exactly what the A's in Sacramento need. Now, where does Oakland stand in all this? Up next. At the start of every show, I let you, as the listener, know that I'm a die-hard A's fan. And I'm here to give you a real fan's take. That is exactly what I have done in the short time I have been here. And anything I have posted on social media is exactly that, an opinion and a take. What I say does not make me right, and what you say does not make you wrong. The notion and thought about an opinion I post is thought of as clickbait is somewhat comical to me. I had a take, and I stand by that take, that the A's will not be going to Las Vegas, and the A's will be staying in Sacramento permanently, as Vivek Ranadive and Joe Lacob are the new owners. Now, you may disagree with my take and the factual points I make that supports it, which is fine. Like I said, what I say does not make me right, and what you say does not make you wrong. One individual hopes that the A's lose every single game next year because of John Fisher. Are you really a fan? I have been an A's fan since 1981 and have gone to a minimum of around 20 games a year, with many years around 50 to 60. And it pains me that the A's are leaving Oakland. And it pains me more that the A's will not be coming back to Oakland. No one is going to come out of the clouds, buy the A's, and put them back in the Coliseum. This last season was not about baseball. It was about John Fisher. It was not about the monster season Brett Rooker had. It was about sell the team, Major League Baseball wants to escape the hate, the small crowds, and the angry fans in Oakland that have made the product on the field secondary. And I hate to say it, but a part of me as a fan does as well, because last year had nothing to do with baseball. It had to do with a billionaire owner that considers the A's a small piece of his family's financial empire. Yet, it is all we talk about day in and day out. No one wanted this, but it is here. And yeah, maybe a reset is good for the A's just to simply get back to baseball. We appreciate you making today's episode of Locked On A's your first listen of the day. For your second listen, be sure to check out Locked On MLB podcast with your pal Sully, who has it all covered every single day. Click here to listen now. Don't forget that between these episodes, you can keep up with me and your A's by following on social media at X or Twitter at Locked On A's. I'll see you tomorrow.